Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to be going over some of my favorite personal Battlefield 6 weapon setups, and I'm just going to be giving you guys some information as to what I've noticed is effective for me in my gameplay and what I think the quote-unquote meta is in a beta. I know people are going to cringe at that, but you know, people do like to know the best weapon setups and what actually works in game and what doesn't. And we're going to be doing that in today's video. So if you want to follow Battlefield 6, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and of course, follow the stream. First link in the description. I stream every single day. Without further ado, let's jump right into this. So I suppose to just go weapon by weapon and tell you guys what I like, but we need to understand some things first. So if you look in the bottom right-hand corner here, there are some symbols that you need to understand that are very useful. This is your reload time on the far left. This is your bullet velocity. This is your, I think, ADS time, and this is your headshots multiplier, okay? All these are really important because as you equip things, you know, you can go in here and you can click around, you can see some differences. Like, for instance, you can see the penalty to ADS time if I equip this grip right here. Then you can see the, you know, all these bars and numbers going down and up. In general, I would say don't pay too much attention to these bars. Traditionally in Battlefield, there's always the hidden stats under what these bars truly mean. So, you know, there's more of a definition to precision than it's really showing you. This probably has to do with spread, recoil control. There's a bunch of different aspects to recoil control, like horizontal recoil, vertical recoil, first shot multiplier. So don't invest too much brain power in trying to think about what these bars do. They're really vague and you shouldn't really trust them. Now, we're going to talk about the NVO. One thing I just want to say first, I'm not saying these are the best weapon builds ever. I'm not saying these are perfect. This is just what I have found to be useful while playing. So, NVO, this gun's really, really insane. A common theme you will see in my builds is, I'll just take it to the test range. Hipfire in this game, as you can see, is super, super useful. I mean, this guy's at 10 meters. That guy's at 25. I mean, you can almost get away with killing people at 25 meters with hipfire, and this isn't even as good as you can get it. So, in my opinion, hipfire in this game is so important for multiple reasons. Number one, it's just very effective in general, right, as I just said, but also it can help sort of mitigate or avoid potentially the ADS sway penalties that you see right here, because you can jump with hipfire in this game. Right, so you can jump peak corners with hipfire, and you can avoid this ADS sway. Because as you can see, the crosshair stays static, and this is very useful in CQC. Onto the setup, though. I like using the double port brake. If you can maybe find room in your build, the compensated brake is really, really good too, but I think the double port brake is very good as well. The barrels here, the barrels in this game just kind of give you a little added customizations, right? Oops. The one I like using is the 409mm cut. Improves hipfire accuracy again and aiming speed, both very, very important things. You do want to try to keep your ADS time quite low in this game for obvious reasons. It just feels really snappy and really good. I am happy they didn't go the COD or Delta Force route where you can make your ADS super, super horrible. I always liked Battlefield's fast, snappy ADS times. There's a lot of talk about the grips. So if you read these grips, a lot of them have a penalty. Cost of aimed accuracy when moving, right? Handling when aiming, which isn't as bad. But the accuracy when moving penalty in particular is on a lot of the grips, and it's very, very noticeable. So I would strongly recommend using any grip that has cost of aimed accuracy when moving as a listed penalty. And if you are going to use a grip, try to use something that completely avoids that. As for lasers, if you really want a hipfire build, go for the big laser, right? Go for the one that maxes out that hipfire. Sights are obviously personal preference. It is worth noting that sometimes in builds, depending on how many points you have left with this attachment system, some iron sights are actually really good, and you can get away with equipping other attachments if you sacrifice using a red dot sight or any other sight on your weapon. For the magazine, I like using the 30-round magazine. There is a 40-round in gameplay. I haven't really felt the need for it, to be honest with you. Maybe that's just me. I know some people like their extended mags, but one thing that is non-negotiable on a lot of weapons right now, in my opinion, is soft point or synthetic tip ammo. We'll be getting to synthetic tip later in the video. It's essentially just a better version of soft point. But what soft point ammo does is it increases the headshot multiplier. So if you click on this ammo here, you can see the default headshot multiplier is 1.35x. This takes it all the way up to 1.7x, which does make some BTK changes in CQC. I think this makes it a 2-shot headshot in close quarters. So soft point and synthetic tip are must picks if they're available on your weapon, in my opinion. And I don't actually agree with this being in the game. I strongly believe that headshot multipliers should be hard set. You should not be able to change them. But because this is in the game, I think it's a must pick. Soft point or synthetic tip. If it's available, definitely use it. That's my NVO build. Another very, very accurate AR is the B36A4, which I think is just the G36, right? This is one of the more accurate weapons in the game. That guy's, I think, 100 meters, and it just takes him out no problem. Not too much recoil on this weapon. If you like a very accurate, very versatile assault rifle, this is pretty much your weapon, I'd say. The M443 can have a little unruly recoil and is not that good at range, and the NVO, again, can have a little bit of unruly recoil, and I find it to be a little more difficult of a weapon to use in general compared to this, so if you're looking just for an easy weapon to slap on, the B36A4 is probably you in this beta. So the way I have it set up right now is I have the linear compensator. What the linear compensator does in my testing is it says reorients blast and subsequently mitigates drift. I think this has a lot to do with horizontal recoil, which is huge, especially at range. So I like using the linear compensator for this. I also like using the shortened barrel, improves hipfire accuracy and aiming speed. And just as I touched on with these bars here, there could be hidden penalties to using these barrels. The data miners or Simthic needs to come back and actually tell us what the raw stats of all these attachments are. So, but right now I'm using the 391 mm CQB barrel. Again, the 50 milliwatt blue laser, sight to personal preference. I'm using 40 round fast mag. I think there's a bigger mag too. Yeah, there's a 45 round mag. I think the 40 round fast mag is best in slot. And of course, soft points must pick in my opinion. Very good weapon. M443, this might be my favorite weapon in the beta. This is going to be worse at range, but it's going to be very, very good at CQC. I mean, look at this hipfire. So, as you can imagine, like I said, jump peeking with hipfire. If you're CQC on somebody, you can really, you don't even really have to aim. So this gun's really good for that. The build for this is the, again, green laser. I have the compensated brake on this one. 14.5 standard. 40 round magazine. And again, the polymer case. This is actually really good. Improved ADS movement speed. Very underrated stat in Battlefield, as you traditionally have pretty low ADS movement speed in this game. Moving on to the carbines. This is an interesting section of weapons. So, assuming they go ahead with class-locking weapons upon the release, which, as of right now, there isn't any news as to if they're going to actually do that. But if they do that, the carbines in this game, so far, are actually better than I expected. So, the M4A1, I think, technically outclasses every single submachine gun in the game in CQC right now. This gun is very good. 900 RPM, 25 damage, so you're looking at 4 bullets a kill. AK-205, as you can see, I haven't used it. I'll go over that in a little bit. And then the M417 is very good. So, the M4A1, this is your CQC weapon in this game, pretty much. This thing is very bad at range. Like, if you just see here, if I go over here and shoot this target, we're hitting for 17 damage. You know, if I hit him in the foot, that's 17. A headshot is only 28 out to that. So you're only gonna want to use this in CQC, even over some SMGs. There are a bunch of different builds I've seen for the M4A1. This is the one that I am using right now. This doesn't mean it's the best. I'm using a linear compensator, again, heavily related to horizontal recoil. I'm using the 14.5 carbine. It's worth noting that if you don't use the 14.5 carbine, you're going to be looking at pretty bad bullet velocity, but it is a CQC weapon, so, you know, I could see you using other barrels. I like using the vertical grip, enhanced recoil control at the cost of handling when aiming. This is a little vague, handling when aiming. Maybe this has to do with ADS movement speed. I'm not entirely sure, but I haven't really found this to get in the way of my gameplay. And I find this weapon to be a little unruly sometimes, especially at distance, so I think this really helps reel it in. Again, this being a CQC weapon, the blue laser for that max hip fire. 30-round magazine. Optionally, you can go for the 40-round fast mag or for the 36-round magazine. If you just want to go with, let's say, a less expensive barrel, or you want to switch up the grip, you can optionally equip an extended mag for it. And of course, soft points must pick, in my opinion, for that increased headshot multiplier. Very, very essential. We'll get to the AK-205 last. As you can see, I didn't use it because it's not good. But M417, this is my first build with a suppressor, and I'm messing with suppressors. So, suppressors in this game. Reduces audible sound and information revealed when firing. Information revealed when firing, right? Very, very important thing here. I have noticed while using this gun with a suppressor that the enemies do seem to ignore me more. It doesn't feel like everyone knows where I am. So I think suppressors in this game may be a lot more useful than previous games. Again, we need more information. We need data miners to come in and tell us exactly what these attachments do. But in my experience, and I don't think it's placebo, I really feel like the enemies just don't pay attention to you when you use a suppressor. So this could be a suppressor game, ladies and gentlemen. But for this build, I'm using the shortened suppressor. I'm using the 12-inch assaulter. You know, hey, relax in the comments. Hey, I know what you're typing right now. The 12-inch assaulter? Yeah. Relax, guys. 25-round magazine, because this weapon's magazine size is pretty abysmal. You're going to need to be you're going to need really good positioning with this weapon. You're going to be reloading a lot. Soft point, of course, must pick, and I just slapped a laser on there. This weapon is kind of like an all-class NVO, but slightly worse, but it's really not that bad. This gun is incredibly good. I find it's pretty good at range. You do have to burst fire a little bit. The hip fire is pretty good. And it just looks badass. I mean, come on. It's an M417. We're slinging fucking 7.62, all right? And you're getting dropped. Now, the AK-205, so I didn't use this weapon much. However, this is kind of just your stereotypical low-damage laser beam weapon. You do not want to use this in any sort of CQC. The only way you should use this weapon is with synthetic tip ammunition. This is soft point ammunition on steroids. So if you take a look at the headshot multiplier here in the bottom right-hand corner, goes from 1.7 all the way up to 2.1. This means this weapon heavily rewards headshot accuracy. So if you're somebody that loves that, this is probably one of the weapons for you. If I were to set this weapon up, obviously I didn't really use it that much, but you're going to just want to avoid any sort of aimed accuracy when moving penalties, because the entire point of this weapon is low recoil, high accuracy. So you're going to just want to avoid decreasing any of that accuracy. It's also worth noting, you know, there's a CQB suppressor, so maybe you slap that on there. It's also worth noting, perhaps you want to run a scope. You don't want to be in CQC with this weapon. You definitely want to be at mid-range, shooting people in the head. And maybe you can slap a big mag on it. But if I had to set up an AK-205, I would say avoid any accuracy penalty. Synthetic tip must use under all circumstances. Everything else, honestly, might not even matter that much. That weapon needs to be buffed, in my opinion. And synthetic tip probably just needs to be removed. Moving on to the SMGs. The SMGs in this game, I don't really know, guys. Let me know in the comment section. I would almost always rather use an assault rifle or carbine, I have to be honest. The SGX, it's pretty good. I mean, it has a very unique attachment in the grip slot, which I think is a bit of a gimmick, but it is kind of fun. Prevents users from hand passing in front of the barrel. Allows weapon to be fired while sprinting. Like gung-ho from Call of Duty. Yes. I tried it out. It's really not that good because you can only sprint in a straight line, right? So very, very niche use case scenario. But it kind of gives you 0 millisecond sprint out time, which is really, really powerful. You just are running at them and you click and you start shooting. So you don't have to wait for that sprint out delay. This is the build that I have right now. We'll just go in the firing range. Really good hip fire. It's worth noting that if you play Engineer, which I will put it on Engineer right now to show you guys. Oops. Engineer. SMG. SGX. So Engineers get even better hip fire, which means SMGs and Engineer are it's its signature weapon. You're gonna want to use it. SMGs though, so the SGX, I mean, has honestly kind of a shitty recoil pattern for a submachine gun. I like using linear compensator for this. It is worth noting that it could be worth it to use the worst laser and go with the compensated break because, again, I feel like this weapon has kind of a bad recoil pattern for how mediocre it turns out to be. It's not the worst weapon. I mean, it does 25 damage, 830 rate of fire, but again, the M4A1 simply out-damages it at its effective range. So, unfortunately, right now, there's kind of no reason to use it. But if you want to use it, linear compensator, 8-inch extended. I like using the slim angled grip, 30-round fast mag, soft point, and the 50 milliwatt green laser. The MP7. This gun is your pea shooter SMG that basically doesn't have any recoil. I mean, it just doesn't move when you shoot it. That guy's not like 100 meters away. So 947 ROF, 16 damage. Okay, 16. You're doing nothing with this gun. So you do not want to be at any sort of range with this weapon. You absolutely want the best hip fire you can get. Linear compensator, just get rid of all that horizontal shake. Standard barrel. Slim angled foregrip. 40-round magazine. Slap on the biggest mag you can find. Soft point, absolutely. And if you can find a way to use the 50 milliwatt green laser, honestly, you should. Let me see if I can do it for you live here. So what is a slight recoil control and minor benefit to aiming speed. So the ADS time goes from 133 to 167. That's negligible, but it costs the same. And this is the only other grip, and it has aimed accuracy when moving. Yeah, rip. Yeah, maybe it's just not worth it. I mean, the hip fire is great on this thing anyway, if you look. That's the MP7. Fun weapon to use. Not sure if it's worth using, though, unfortunately. LMGs. LMGs in this game are weird. So, the ones that I've used so far, I actually quite like. If we go in here, this is the M249. I like using the linear compensator on it. Arguably, you could set up a suppressor build, but again, linear compensator makes this thing a laser beam. Using the 349mm fluted barrel. The full angled, this is your benefit to aiming grip. Very, very good. And, I mean, in general, this weapon build is just kind of straightforward. LMGs in this game, you do not want to be up close to people. You definitely want to be at a mid-range. They are lasers in this game, so if you like head glitching and just sitting places, I mean, look at this. It just hits everything. Like, it almost has, you don't even have to burst at 100 meters. Like, you can just laser people. So that's the L1110. Awkward weapon. ADS time isn't that great. Reload's obviously bad, but good damage range. Very, very accurate. KTS. Now, this is the U100. This is a weird one because this is an LMG that has synthetic tip. Right now, I don't have it yet, but synthetic tip must use on this weapon for that 2.1x headshot multiplier. For whatever reason, this gun has abysmal spread. Like, horrible spread. I'm not sure why. I think it's moving spread in particular. So absolutely avoid using any grip that has this penalty, aimed accuracy when moving. That is terrible for this weapon. In general, you want to sit at mid-range closest with a scope similar to the AK-205, and you just want to try to tap heads. That's pretty much all you want to do with this gun. There is a 100-round drum mag. I don't think you're going to need it. 60-round magazine, because I like the improved reload speed over the improved weapon draw speed, because, again, ideally you're not going to be up close on people. You don't really need draw speed on this weapon. For the muzzle, you know, suppressor, shortened suppressor, so I'm trying the long suppressor right now. Tried this, reduces recoil but increases sway. At mid-range, I felt it was pretty bad, so I went with the long suppressor. The barrel, you definitely don't want to nerf your bullet velocity. As you can see, there is actually a barrel that gives you over 1,000 meters per second bullet velocity, and it improves accuracy when firing for prolonged periods of time. But this improves accuracy when firing for prolonged periods. And hold on, what? I must have just gotten this barrel. Anyway, okay, so go with a 508 millimeter, not the 457. I would not go for a hip fire build on the U100. That would be horrible. So you basically have a 1,000 meter per second LMG with synthetic tip, and I guess if you wanted to use synthetic tip, you know, just switch around your barrel attachment, maybe switch around your grip, maybe get rid of the grip, honestly. That's pretty much it. I mean, U100, fairly strange weapon. M39 EMR and the SVK. So the SVK, hands down, is better than the M39 EMR. The M39 is horrible in this game. They need to buff that weapon. I think it's a 3-shot headshot. Maybe it has synthetic tip. I haven't looked, but my god. So in my experience using the SVK, I like the triple port brake, advanced muzzle brake that reduces recoil. This thing has this thing has some kick. I mean, the DMRs in this game, they gave them some balls. They really did. You do not want to reduce your muzzle velocity with this weapon. Definitely keep the 560 millimeter. Keep this grip, enhanced recoil control, and minor benefit to aiming speed at the cost of handling when aiming. This grip is probably best in slot with this weapon, in my opinion. I'll show you the recoil. I mean, these guns are fucking... And that's with attachments. When you get this gun naked, it's pretty annoying to actually use. In terms of other things here, definitely use the 10-round fast mag. Definitely use full metal jacket, which I think is default. And maybe you can slap a laser on there. You can maybe remove this for other, get some other points. But that's basically it. The gist of the build is don't nerf your muzzle velocity. And definitely prioritize some recoil attachments on this weapon. It's going to keep you from missing some shots on that reset. M39 EMR. Like I said, this gun, I have not used this very much. This gun is pretty brutally bad, in my opinion. Does it have a synthetic tip? No, it doesn't. It doesn't even have synthetic tip or soft points. Jesus Christ. This weapon's going to be a struggle. I would recommend, again, don't nerf your muzzle velocity that much. Try to keep the recoil down as much as you can. And that's pretty much it. You know, maybe slap a bigger magazine on there if you can, and that's it. I would honestly recommend not even using the M39, just use the SVK. That's exactly what I did, and I feel great about it. Moving on to the sniper. This is interesting. So this is obviously the only sniper in the game right now. So with it being a bolt action, you really don't have to reduce any recoil. I like using the flash hider. Again, optionally, you can use the suppressor. For the barrel, it's worth noting there is a barrel that gives you 1,125 meters per second muzzle velocity, which is just like, oh, holy fuck. 1,125. So if you want the max velocity, which I'm not sure why I didn't have that equipped, definitely use the 26-inch carbine. That thing is just, I mean, just brutal. Rangefinder, if you're super long range, which has not been available in the beta, definitely use the rangefinder if you're one of those long-range sniper types. I don't necessarily think it's essential, but maybe you can LARP with it. For the underbarrel here, I really like the low profile stubby grip. I think that is pretty essential. Minor benefit to aiming speed, absolutely no downsides. For the magazine, I like using the 5-round. You know, you can maybe use the 8-round magazine, remove the laser, maybe get some points, but I found it pretty useful. The big attachment here is the DLC bolt. So this is straight pull bolt for previous Battlefield fans. This allows you to rechamber around while aiming. Very, very useful. I think essential. And then for the optic accessories, very interesting. AG coating reduces the amount of reflected light, narrowing the visible cone of scope glint. So, I mean, again, optionally, you can remove the laser sight, and you can go for anti-scope glint. But with the way scope glint is right now, it's kind of worthless, which is why I had the laser on there in the first place. I found using this, people still see you just fine. Maybe after the scope glint nerf, this will make scope glint even less visible, and then maybe this attachment will be worth it to actually use. But in the beta, which is what I'm making this video for, I would recommend just use your points elsewhere. You know, throw a laser on there, maybe use a different magazine, right? Like maybe I can do this. No, I can't. But yeah, you guys understand the idea. And the last weapon, oh man, the dreaded shotgun. Yes. The dreaded shotgun. CQB suppressor. I think it's just sick. I mean, come on. Even if it's not that good, I'm going to use it. Only barrel available is the 20-inch factory. For the grip, we have a multitude of options here. Do not use anything aimed actually when moving. That is bad. I'm using a slight recoil control and the minor benefit to aiming speed in the ribbed stubby, but there is also the slim angled and the full angled. I think the ribbed stubby is the best in slot. For your laser, use the green laser. Keep the 7 shell tube. And this is where you select your ammo. If you want to use slugs, you're going to have to make some sacrifices, but buckshot, it gets the job done every time. And in terms of a sight, I would recommend not wasting points here. Just stick with the iron sights. It gives you more points for the build. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that is the Battlefield 6 Open Beta Weapon Guide. Just gave you some suggestions for builds there. Try out suppressors, ladies and gentlemen. Try out the hip fire. Let me know what you think. Particularly for suppressors, I want to know if you guys feel like people don't pay attention to you more. You can try these builds out up until I think just after the 17th is when the beta shuts down. So let me know in the comment section. If you want to follow Battlefield 6, subscribe to the channel. I'll be making content every single day as much as I can. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. The M4A1 sounds really good.